25-lap journey begins for the women. A full field of 17. Tali Bird from Glen Huntly, a National Cross medalist. The Eritrean Nazret Gebrahewet. Ellie O'Kane from Deakin, a member of a Victorian cross-country team. Was national title holder just a couple of years ago. Cassie Heiner from Glen Huntly. Lydia O'Donnell across from New Zealand. Veronica Wanjiru, her first 10,000 metre back on the track after her second child. Lillian Anderson from Queensland. Gemma Maney, the Frankston athlete. Audrey Amia Hall. Madeline Heiner, we talked about, fourth in the Com Games over the steeple. Millie Clark, third last year, back again. Stacey Bolger of Glen Huntly. Jessica Trengove, the marathoner, the bronze medalist from the Com Games. Celia Sullohern, going to try and step up for the Ondieki 3000 win a couple of years back. Amelia Aslanders from Glen Huntly. Virginia Maloney from Collingwood. And Eloise Wellings, the two-time champion, looking to make it three. They're about round the first lap at the front end of the field. They're starting to settle into their work. The big guns, well, they're well placed. Wellings just working her way forward. Trengove's at the front. And O'Kane in behind her.
The girls are obviously not on target for that World Champs time, so I'm guessing that they will pick it up through the later parts of this race, because it's still quite congested. All the top girls are there. And we've just seen Jess drop back into second, which will be nice for her to get a bit of a breather.
So it is Wanjiru that's gone to the front. The Eritrean Gebrahewet back and forth. Trengove will have a little bit of respite as she's led them through the first 17 laps, with 17 laps to go, the first 8 on the track. Heiner will sit back in along with Wellings. Gebrahewet back into 5th. Sullohern still hanging tough on that group, which is great to see. Go back on the track, it's Tali Bird along with Millie Clark in 7th and 8th. A gap starting to fill up even further back to Aslanders of the Glen Huntly Club. And so 14 laps remaining, Wanjiru at the front. And it's still Heiner, Trengove, Wellings and Sullohern right there. It's a top 5 and they're continuing to drive away. The Kenyan just looks to her inside, sees where her rivals are, and I think gradually just starting to add a little bit of pressure, and we've seen just that. And Heiner's going to go with her. The task now for Trengove and Wellings and Sullohern is, do they go with them? Heiner's answered the question. She's going to go with Wanjiru, and it looks like Trengove is trying to just bring that group back together again as the Kenyan injects a little bit of pace. 14 laps to go in the Zatopek 10 for 2014. It is 12 laps to go, and it's a top 3 now that has been reduced. Wanjiru, Heiner and Wellings. The gap is back there to Trengove. Sullohern is hanging tough. Still in 6th place is the Eritrean. Wanjiru has done the damage though, and I think looks very competent and confident running from the front. I don't think it's going to phase her if she has to do this for the rest of the way home, and that's often the case with a lot of these Kenyan distance runners. They like to set their own pace, set their own standard, and really force people to run their race rather than letting terms get dictated to them.
Well, it seems that Wanjiru is putting in surges, and I reckon that's the hardest way to run distance races. She's throwing in surges, coming off the bend and running down the back straight, and that change of pace that she's injecting into the field is the reason why you're seeing gaps starting to appear. But Madeline, Heiner and Eloise Wellings are still looking really smooth. She hasn't been able to drop them, and that's a really positive sign, but she's starting to look like she's starting to open the gap up just a little bit now.
Now, we mentioned it earlier, but this is Madeline Heiner's first attempt at the 10,000 metres. Now we see Wellings, the experienced head, just moving up to her shoulder with 11 laps to go. Now Wellings was a 2-time champion back in 2009, 2010, back at the original Olympic Park, won on the track there. You know, I think it was like the 50th edition that we had on that occasion of the overall meet. Now Wanjiru still leading the race, had the best part of maybe 3 or 4 metres on Wellings, but Wellings just working her way gradually up, and with surging, I guess you don't want to necessarily respond with those surges. It's probably better to maintain your rhythm and gradually work your way back up so you're not doing too much damage to yourself.
Definitely, and Wellings was sitting on Heiner, so obviously when the gap appeared, sometimes it appears and 5 metres occur before you've even realised that it's happened. So she saw it open up, and she went straight past Maddie, and she's now back on the shoulder, and she's looking really smooth. Eloise looks really fantastic with 11 laps to go.
It'll be 2 laps to go in the Zatopek. Up the home stretch they now come. Wellings looks to her inside, sees Wanjiru there. They're hanging on to one another. The two mothers head to head. 2 laps to go, and it's Eloise Welling leading the way here in Melbourne in the Zatopek 10. She's looking for rare air to become only one of a handful that have won 3 of these women's Zatopek crowns. She's got 2. 3 could be ahead of her in 2014, and she's holding ground on Wanjiru of Kenya.
And Madeline Heiner's still in 3rd place, and what an effort for her first ever 10K. You know, she's looking great for a national medal.
And we see Sullohern and Trengove make their way to the 2 laps to go. Trengove's worked her way back up onto Sullohern after she put on a spurt. So it's 2 laps to go there, front end of the field. We've now got to track our race leaders. It's Wellings and Wanjiru. 5,000 metres, Wanjiru has the advantage on time. Wanjiru does have the pace on her side, but Wellings is a gutsy competitor, and in front of her home crowd, she's looking for rare air to become one of only a handful to have got 3 women's Zatopek crowns, 2009, 2010, and in 1 lap we'll know whether 2014 will be Eloise Wellings' year. It's Wanjiru and Wellings. 1 lap to go in the Zatopek for 2014, and it's the Australian that'll take the bell, the Kenyan behind her. She's got to dig deep, 400 metres left. Madeline Heiner holding well in 3rd place, and this is where it all counts now. Wanjiru now making the move. Wellings needs to respond, Tamsin.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. Wanjiru has made a really decisive break, but Eloise is still fighting. She's starting to get the sprint action. Her arms are pumping. She's got the forward lean. She's still getting good lift off the track, and her knee lift's good. Wanjiru is just looking a little bit effortless though down the back straight. She's made a good break, but you know, Eloise still knows that national crown's still there for the taking, and it's a really fast time that they're going to run off of such a slow pace as they started out at.
Looking around the 32:40 mark as Wanjiru starts to round the bend, the last time for the Kenyan in her return to running. Eloise Wellings in 2nd place would seem to have the Australian title in her keeping, but is not done with yet. The Kenyan into the straight, looking to become only the 2nd Kenyan to take out the women's Zatopek here, not since Joyce Kepkarui in 2011, and it's going to be Veronica Wanjiru will take out the Zatopek 10 in 2014, and Eloise Wellings, the Australian, will take the national crown. As we see Madeline Heiner in her debut over 10,000 metres. What a comeback to athletics it's been. 8 years on the sideline, 4th in the Steeple in the Commonwealth Games, and a silver medal in the national title, and will finish 3rd in the Zatopek 10 for 2014. Wanjiru just had a little bit extra when it counted at the end, as we see the battle now for 4th and 5th. Trengove and Sullohern, the bronze medal and the national titles up for grabs. Sullohern, the youngster on the inside. Trengove trying to find some pace, but Celia Sullohern will finish herself on the podium in the national titles. She'll finish 4th overall, Trengove 5th.
Exciting run tonight. Obviously, Eloise pushed you all the way. Did you enjoy the race?
I'm very grateful I have win, and I enjoy it. The weather is good, and I'm happy to become #1. This is my first time to run 10,000 meter, and I'm happy, I'm grateful.
Future, is there plans for a marathon?
Now I'm planning from next year, but I'm planning to go to start running marathon, half marathons. That's why I'm starting with 10,000 meters. And I'm very happy to come back from Reef. I'm now a mother.